Ever wonder how to make a 4-foot sub? We're going to teach you how to do that right here in our RV, right before we take this to a potluck dinner. See you in a few. Hi, welcome back to One Dish, Two Ways. Looks a little different, doesn't it? So we are actually camping. This is our new to us camper that we got last year. If you saw the video we did from a campsite, we were outside of our pop-up, but now we have a, what do you call it, a hard-sided travel trailer now. So we wanted to show you something from our sub shop days, so I'm super excited. So we're at the Illinois Pop-Up Group Rally, and tonight is the potluck. So we were discussing, should we do a video for the potluck? And we were like, we bet nobody knows how to make a 4-foot sub. So that's what we're going to show you today. Whoop, whoop. So I have, Joe can panoramic over here. I have all the ingredients that we need, and I'm going to show you so that you can apply this to a 2-foot, 3-foot, 4-foot, 5-foot, 6-foot sub, whatever you want. Because you're going to say, well, Sheila, how do you do it? Well, let me show you all the tips and tricks. So first of all, you need a board to hold that sub on. So this is a 4-foot, it's a 2x4, right, Joe? 1 by, and it's 4 foot in length. And what I did before we left home was, all you need to do is you cover it in foil. Regular foil, no special foil. You lay the foil out. We normally do the more shiny side down. Put the board on it. You tape one, roll it, then tape again, as you can see here, and then roll the things over. And there you have it. And it's for easy cleanup, because once you're done with the sub, you roll this up, throw it in the trash, and then you can use the board for another sub. And now you might say, Sheila, where are you going to cook a 4-foot sub roll? Bingo, bango, the secret's right here, people. We got a 6, what is it? We have 6 sub rolls. We get these from Sam's, and here's the reason why. When you get them at the store, you're not going to find them in the width that more fits the board, but you can certainly do that. You can also take this concept and do it in a tray form, but we like the sub roll. We like it doing it this way because people are just like, what? And I just think the presentation is pretty cool. So what am I going to do here? This is what I'm going to do. So as you can see, Basil, there's not much room in the camper, so Basil will be in the entire video because she's not going to move for us, which is fine. She doesn't have many places to go. So you're going to start on your end, and you want to make sure you got the best rounded end. I usually go a little past it, and then you're going to shave off just a little bit. Just a wee bit. Try not to cut too much to cut the foil. And then save these because you can do things with these. Number one, you can freeze them and you can make croutons out of them, or yeah, let's make sure I don't do that. Or you can make breadcrumbs out of them. So you're going to cut off, once you get to the middle parts, you're going to cut off the ends of both of these, and you're going to butt it up next to it, because ultimately you're going to be cutting them into pieces so that people can eat them. So that's what you need to do. Oh, hold on. Okay, so then we're going to cut off this end. So for a 4-foot sub, 6 rolls is more than enough. If you have a 6-foot sub, if that's what you want to do, you need 7 rolls. You won't have quite enough with the 6. You'll be a little short. So keep that in mind. And these rolls freeze really well. We froze this, and then when we defrosted it as we were driving over to the campground. So you see here, Joe, if you want to come in closer, if I just cut this little bit off, we're right at the edge. Plus, I left a little over there, so I could scoochy a little bit. So I'm going to choose this one because it's more rounded. It's like thicker, and then I'm going to cut off this little end right here. Oop, do not let me tip this. Okay, so there you go. We are completely, if Joe, you want to show that, end to end. And I put the sub rolls over here for now. And now we've got to cut them this way. So you're just going to do it one roll at a time. Just don't stress about it. At the end of the day, it's going to be very hard to tell, because by the time you load this with meat and cheese and veg, it's going to be hard to tell that. So just do the best you can. If one of you's got a steadier hand than the other, boy, I'm going to need to vacuum after this. And we just set the sub rolls this way, so you know exactly which ones come back over. Okay, You can use wheat rolls. I would have bought the wheat rolls. I didn't have them at Sam's this time. They usually sell both the white and wheat. Okay, so here we go. We got the last one.
Make sure your fingers are out of the way when you're doing this.
Yes. We owned a sub shop for 20 years. Everything and anything happened. So we know. Okay. So next, we need lettuce. So lettuce is always going to be your bottom layer. And the key to getting this shredded, I did this myself. I want to be honest, I tried to do the cheater lettuce at Sam's. They didn't have it. And I wasn't going to go to Walmart. It was cost me a fortune. So I got 2 heads of iceberg lettuce. Always try to feel the iceberg lettuce and get the ones that are more dense, firmest. Because that way, when you do that, just with a little bit with your knife, you're going to get these little shreds. The other thing about lettuce is once you cut into it with a knife, you start that clock. So if you want to prep your iceberg lettuce for the week, all you need to do is you need to bang that core on the table to get the core out without using a knife, and then use your hands to tear it. That way you have a longer shelf life with it, especially if you put it in one of those containers that will drain the water out. This case, I just cut it, 30 minutes ago while you were showering. So this is going to get messy. So keep that in mind. You will have to vacuum your floor when this is over. It's just part of it. So I'm going to try to do this. So you don't want a ton, but you want to be able to cover that bottom layer of your sub roll. Okay. Again, I know I'm going to have to vacuum. And as you can see, does not bother Basil in the least. Okay. So, and I might have cut too much. You just never know. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough. So like here, I've got a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to put some there. And even when you go even over it, you're going to cut through this to make your slices. So don't worry about that at all. Okay.
Just so another helpful hint, you see how the bun's going to be kind of wobbly. If you go through and just cut a little sliver off the bottom to give it a flat surface, nobody's going to see it, but it'll lock it down. You won't get that wobbly feel out of it.
So don't do like us. I didn't do that. I'm limited on space, so I was just like, let's just go for it. So thankfully, Joe's over here making sure that it stays level, which is good. So I'm going to keep going with the lettuce a little bit more. So we always did it lettuce on the bottom. And if you see some bare spots, add a little bit more. Go back through. Make sure you have plenty of lettuce and then go back through. I'm excited that I have spare lettuce because that'll be part of my food prep when we get home this weekend. Okay, so next we need to do our meat. This is where, make the sub whatever you want. For this event, we're doing ham, turkey, roast beef, and provolone cheese. We're doing all of it. You can do small portions of it. You could do one section ham, you could do one section turkey, and then we'll show you how you would define those differently so that people know. We're not doing part of this for me this time. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do only because I know with this crowd, this is just going to be the best for this crowd. And that's fine. That's not a problem for us. So the next layer is, what do you want to do, roast beef first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So
whatever's up front.
We did get the big packages from Sam's because that was the better value. And we're going to show you how to do this. So thankfully, this one is kind of already, a lot of meats when you get them like this, they're already folded over. But we're going to straighten it up. And you're going to do it, you're going to fold it, what would you say? That's the short way, right? I'm trying to describe it. So here's your piece of roast beef. So we're going to fold it this way. But on this next piece, we're going to fold it this way so that, and just slightly overlap it so that everybody's going to get a piece of roast beef the entire way. Now, like I said, you could make this, you could do roasted chicken. You know how they have the slices of roasted chicken? Anything you want. You could do tuna. I would say you're limiting who would like the tuna, but you can do tuna. So whatever it is that your family likes, now you see the meat has gotten her attention. She's like, well, I smell meat, Mommy. So, and we're just going to keep going. Now, and then you could do as many layers. Because we're doing 3 meats and a cheese, I'm only going to do 1 layer of each. Another thing about these, again, I bought them. I wasn't sure. It's been a while since we've owned the sub shop. So I couldn't remember how much we needed for 4 foot versus 6 foot. So I bought the bigger one. Number one, it was a better value. But number two, you can also freeze lunch meat if you need to. And that way it doesn't go bad. And we just freeze it in smaller portions because, of course, Joe's the only one that's going to be eating this, not me. So, eating the lunch meat. I mean, there'll be other people eating a sub. So, and then if you get to the end like this, you do this. Cut it, you fold it, and then you fold it this way, and you just kind of lay it that way. And you do kind of just push it down. Okay? So on to the next. So the next is going to be ham. Again, these are kind of already nicely set up for us. This one especially is. So on this one, the meat's just a little shorter, and to keep it level so you don't have all your folds on one side, we're going to do the fold for this one on this side. And you see now like I said, it's going to just make sure that coverage is everybody's going to get all the different meats in every single bite. So this one's kind of nice. It's already folded for me. And like I said, I just do a little bit overage for each of them. Okay. Don't worry. I'm sure Basil will get a little piece of turkey when this is all over from Daddy. So she's not starving. Oh, snap. She's not starving. And this happens, you just put it all back on there. This is not a problem in the least. I don't know, did I hit it? Must have hit it. Welcome back. So we have two things working against us. Number one, those rolls didn't have flat bottoms. And number two, if you see here, I don't have a level counter because I got this sink here. So that was two things were working against me. So what we did was we just flipped everything over. Joe took the bottoms off to make them more stable. So that will help us finish this up. And then we just put everything back on top. And now we finished the ham layer. Now it's time for the turkey layer. Okay? We do meat and then cheese and then tomato onions. Again, you can switch this up whatever you want. So, now let's do turkey. Now see, these aren't coming as nicely, so I'm going to have to fold those. So, again, my fold was this side, so I'm going to do the opposite side. Because if you have all the folds on one side, then you're going to have a very cockeyed sandwich. And that will make it hard when you go to, because the other thing is, you're going to say, well, how are you going to put saran wrap on there? We'll show you. It's all the little tips of the trick. So we get it. If this is boring, you can fast forward and get to the end where we show you how you cut it and you seal it to take it to a party. Because obviously you take this out without covering it, it will fall apart. And you don't want that. So, boy, we got her attention now, don't we? Okay. So, I'm curious, what would you have? I know for me, I've made a no tuna salad that I'm going to put on lavash bread as my go-to for a sandwich. Actually, I've been eating on that no tuna salad for a while. I think Joe likes, she got a little bit. I think Joe does like the ham turkey roast beef combo. My mom would want rotisserie chicken. So there's just so many options out there. You could also do ham, turkey, bacon. That's one of the ones we used to have at the sub shop. Or ham, turkey, and Canadian bacon is another option. Pepperoni, if you want to do an Italian. Now, if you want to do an Italian, that one's a little different. And the reason for that is your pieces of salami and pepperoni are going to be right here. So you don't fold those. You just put those right like this. If you do pepperoni, Genoa, salami. I think those are the two that you would do that with. Okay.
For an Italian, we always did capicola ham, regular ham, Genoa, and pepperoni. So you had 4 different meats, plus we did provolone and Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more going on, so we only did 1 layer versus folding it over like we're doing here to get a little bit more body to the sandwich.
So provolone, same thing. It's kind of shaped like the meat. So you cut it in half. It will break, and that's fine. If you think this is too thick, you could take your provolone. Let me do it on this one. Because it breaks, you could do this and then do this, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do the double layer only because there is so much meat, and we're trying to make the ratio what people would want or what we're assuming they're going to want. So Again, do any cheese that you want to do. Munster, Swiss, you can do. Again, if you are a vegan, they do have, I've never had it, but they do have tofurkey, and they have, you know, shredded cheese that's non-dairy. So there are options for you to have no matter what it is that you're eating. Now, if you don't eat bread, then this would be, the option to that is chop it all up with a big salad, and then you would be able to have like a chopped salad, but you still get all the flavors of a sub. I see that's kind of viral right now, is chopping everything up. So we're almost done with this layer, and then it's the tomatoes. Okay. So again, we're going to have lots of this that I'll be able to freeze in small batches for Joe, these meats and cheeses, for future sandwiches in his future. Okay, so we got that done. And thankfully we have a fridge in this RV, so we can put all this stuff away as soon as we're done. Okay, tomatoes. Again, I went ahead and cut these before we came on camera because you don't want to sit here and watch me cut tomatoes. So we're just going to put one tomato and just put them right next to each other. I tried to cut the tomato. I got like a package of them at Sam's because I'll use them all week. But I tried to get the ones that, cut the ones that are going to be the full width of the sandwich. So, and I'm going to use a bunch of these with my chickpea salad. So, okay. And I probably cut too much onion because I just never know how much onion to cut until we actually start making the sandwich, or if you lose some of it. We've had that happen at the sub shop where the whole sandwich tipped over. Because if you don't have a counter that's long enough to do this, no, we always wrapped them on the chairs. We made them on the counter. That's how it was. Okay, and then I took regular yellow onion, and I just tried to cut it as thin as I possibly could. Yes, let's push this down a little bit. Just to make sure we're good as gold. Okay, so I'm going to start putting some onions on here. Like I said, I'm going to go a little probably lighter just because it's a mixed crowd of people and everybody's different about onions and their feelings about onions. But like I said, I tried to cut them super thin. And like for Joe, if Joe went somewhere and they had this sandwich, he does not like tomatoes. He just pull them off. Joe doesn't, he just pull them off and does not eat them. He give them to me. So, these should be easy for anybody to take anything off that they don't like. Well, I did cut way too many onions. Huh? Food prep. That's a little too much. Okay. Then we'll show you how we're going to dress it, if you want to call it that. Okay. So, one of the keys, you could do mayonnaise and mustard packets. We're not doing that. We're going to do it the way we did at the sub shop. And that is, we used to make this oil and spice mixture. And so I've already done that. I'll put the ratios in the description box. So it's just canola oil and the spices. I use Italian seasoning, garlic, and black pepper. It's that simple. But what I want to tell you about these jars, when you get them, they have a very small opening. So when you have spices in there, you might need to open it up. And so these are made for you to cut these off and then, you know, get to where you want. That's why they have these little marks here, is that you can cut them and get them where they have a bigger opening. And the nice thing is these have tops on them. We like the size because they fit in the fridge better. So I'm going to just shake it up, make sure the lid's on. And we're just going to drizzle a little bit on the top. You could drizzle on the lettuce, but we're going to do it on the top. And then we'll have this out there for anybody who wants to add a little bit more, okay? So when you open it up, obviously the oil is going to come out quicker. So just keep that in mind as you're squeezing it. And we don't want to do too much. We don't want this sandwich to be soggy when someone's going to eat it. It's potluck. So it's going to be, people are going to go back a couple times and it'll probably be out there for, 30 minutes or so. And the nice thing is once these are all cut, they do fit in sandwich bags very nicely. So I'm just adding a little bit more.
So the spices is basically pepper, garlic, and oregano. And that
that's right. We only use oregano, not Italian seasoning.
You could use Italian because that's mostly oregano. But oregano kind of gives you that Italian herb taste. The canola oil is, a good oil to use. that's got good flavor. You could use olive oil, I'm sure, as well. Canola oil is a little cheaper as well. And then
we got our tops mixed up when we put
the olive oil with the spices. Just make sure you shake it up really, really good, because the oil does kind of make the spices glob up a little bit.
Okay, so you see, I matched the lids up because we did have to, like, because we did all that, we did still have them, but I had two of them switched. So now I'm just pressing this down so you can see everything. It looks good. Joe always liked to clean us this part. It cleans up naturally when you go to, wrap it, let me tell you. Okay, so now, what do I do with the knife? Oh, thank you. So the first thing you do is you cut your meat section. So where your buns are already cut, you've got to cut through all this stuff. Hold both buns, hold both sides, and then you're going to cut. So now I know I'm here, and then I'll cut this. And just think about what you want to do. I say go for even slices, because then you can go half, half, half. Is that what you want to do? Is cut them into 4? Okay, so we're going to go half. Kind of hold it down, so because you know the board will move on you. And then I'm going to cut this one in half. And Joe's holding the other side, helping me out, since it's on an unlevel surface. You wouldn't have that at your house. Okay.
Be careful cutting clear down, because you don't want to cut the foil underneath.
Exactly. So I've already cut this one. So I'm going to cut this one. And I'm going to just go ahead and cut this one so I don't forget. And then I can just keep moving along. So we're going to go half, hold down, and hold down with a decent amount of pressure. Then when you get to the bottom, don't push too much on the foil.
If you don't push down, sometimes the oil and the lettuce and stuff, tomatoes will allow the meat to kind of squirt out the back side. And then you got to take it apart and put it back together again.
Okay, 2 more, well, yep, 2 more cuts, and then we're going to toothpick it. Okay, there we go. Next,
Kind of put these, got to straighten our row up. Our little train looks like it's derailing.
It's easy for Joe to see it because he's standing off to the side, easier than I can. Okay. Next is you're going to use the toothpicks. So these are the toothpicks, what they call them, frill toothpicks. Mm-hmm. This is fun to do a theme. So I think I have some red, blue. You can do opposite. You could also, if you had like part of it was turkey, part of it was ham, you could make one of them just ham and then have like a little guide. This one's ham. But in our case, they're all the same. So I'm just going to go opposite colors. Go all the way down. There are different sizes of these, and I believe these are the 4-inch. So keep that in mind also, that you don't want to get the little cocktail weenie ones, because then they won't go all the way down. And you just go all the way to the bottom.
You can usually find these at your stores that sell like birthday surprise. What's the name of that?
City.
Party City, but I think ours closed. But if you have something similar to that, you'll find this kind of stuff in there. Or you can always buy them online, and I'm sure at Amazon, God forbid.
So since I was going to go opposite, I just did all my red. Now I'm just doing all my blue. Sometimes I think you find them where like alcohol and stuff is for like olives and things like that. But maybe I'm wrong about that.
They may not be long enough. Okay. You just got to make sure they're at least 4-inch, because I think you can get them as far as 5, maybe 6 inches long, which wouldn't be horrible, but
yeah, this is perfect. This gets them in there, but they're not totally in the sandwich, like they can take them out. So then now we need to wrap it. So we're going to wrap it with saran wrap. You can do it with regular saran wrap. It would just be harder. We use, as you can tell, we've used this for quite a while. This is the big one from Sam's. We've had for several years. I make saran wrap balls with this all the time because I like that it stays put. This is definitely easier with 2 people. So what I'm going to do is Joe's going to, I don't know what you're going to do with the camera. But he's going to have to hold part of the, you want to hold this?
No, I'll pull it.
Okay.
You get it ready and I'll
yeah,
pull
so
it.
I'm going to stand where I need to stand. Hold on, let me get it ready. It must have shifted on the trip over here. Okay, so he's going to pull it. And it doesn't matter that we can just go longer than this. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. Just go longer. Okay, so he's going to pull it, keeping it up so it doesn't rip. And I'm going to go longer than we have of the sup, okay? So I want to make sure we have plenty of room. I'm going to rip it. And then we're going to spread it out. And you're going to lay it on there. Oh, hold on.
Let me pause and we'll come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Joe helped because we didn't have something to hold the camera, so he needed to help me. So if your saran wrap is not long or wide enough to go totally underneath, get it as far as you can and take your tape super long. So I've got an area here. We're going to grab it here, and then we're going to, so only have one person doing this because you don't want to, and then you grab it on the other side and you tape it. And that way, because you're not going to, we'll show you in a second, but you're going to cut it this way to serve it. You're not going to take it off like you normally do with saran wrap. And then at the end here, I'm just going to, Joe's going to hold the other end, and I'm just going to twist it and then put it under and then tape it. And having a tape that sits on sits down like that instead of you having to hold it, that helps make it easier too. And then once you get, I didn't actually get it, hold on. Once you get enough of them, then you can go back and do more if you think you need to. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4. We probably did 5 times we've already done it. And the benefit to that is, see, you can move it now and it's not going to just fall off the board. Okay, so then when we get to the event and they say, okay, I think they normally do a prayer before we start to eat, we'll go over and we'll take a pair of scissors and we'll cut a little bit. And then once you get it cut a little bit, then people can start tearing it this way in order to get a piece of the sandwich. And then you can keep, if you want mustard packets, ketchup packets, we're going to take the extra oil and seasoning for people. And it's that easy. Again, I've got a mess, but it's fun, and then people are like, wow, that is so cool. I don't know, it's just something different, and we wanted to show you that it's really not that hard to do to make something a little different. And there you go. And then we'll be able to have the extras here for food prep and fill the freezer a little bit. So let us know in the comments, was this helpful? Would you try this out? Again, you can do this as many feet as you want. 6 foot is pretty long, especially depending on the car you have, unless you're going to serve it at your house. We had that happen one time where somebody showed up and the car was super small. The person they told to go pick it up didn't tell them that they were like picking up literally a 6 foot sub. So the nice thing is it's on a board, so you can slide it in a bed of a truck to get it somewhere, obviously with a cover. But there you go. It's that simple, but once you do it a couple times, you get a rhythm, you find a balance, and it works. And then we're just going to pick this up, put it on the, I don't know, probably on the bed where it's out of the sun, and then I will do all my cleanup, and then in about 20 minutes, we'll be able to take it to the potluck. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you like what, oh, mine. So I made no tuna salad before we came on the trip, which I've done on camera before with my mom. That's my no tuna salad. And then I have some lavash bread, whole wheat lavash, and I'm just going to make me a little wrap to take to the potluck. And then if they've got veggies or something else, then I'll be able to enjoy that. And that will be how I get to participate in the sandwiches, but still stay on my goals. So thank you all so much for joining us, and have a great week. And if you like what you see, if you could like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.